What is up, guys, and thank you for joining me on the Chompt Down channel. I have a whole train of reviews going right now. I'm really hyped on a whole bunch of stuff. If you want to see my review of The Jungle Book, I'm going to put a link right here. Check it out. The Jungle Book's a great movie. But this is my review of Elvis and Nixon.
You'll never guess in a million years who just showed up at the Northwest Gate asking to see him.
It's Elvis.
Elvis and Nixon was a really interesting movie about the most requested picture in the US archives. A picture that was hidden from the US, and now people are really interested in the story, and the story, well, a lot of it is simply unknown. So the writers had a lot of fun with what was going on, but this movie was interesting. If you're a history buff, I 100% suggest that you check this movie out. It has a lot of facts and a lot of characterizations of both Elvis and Nixon and a lot of the people around them, but it was also really interesting to see the time, the era that this movie was set in 1970s. It was really interesting to see. If you want to go into the movie 100% free of any spoilers, I suggest you go see it now before you watch anything else. But I don't really have that many spoilers to give. It's not really a big spoiler-filled movie. There's no real twists or anything. So if you want to go into it scotch-free, get out of here. If not, stay tuned. All right, so Elvis and Nixon was... Look, halfway through I wasn't sure if I was enjoying myself, but by the time that it was the end, I left the theater smiling pretty hard. The biggest holdback for me of this movie was Michael Shannon as Elvis. Elvis impersonators are kind of hard for me to stomach anyways. It always kind of feels uncomfortable, and in this day and age, you kind of have seen more Elvis impersonators than anyone alive has really seen Elvis. So it's kind of hard to know what this guy was really like. But once you get around to feeling Michael Shannon as Elvis, look, this guy's a pretty recognizable actor. This guy has a really worn face, and it's really noticeable when he's in costume. But once you realize that he is really in character, Michael Shannon really pulls off a solid Elvis. And it's not to say that his face doesn't work with Elvis, because I think it does. I think Michael Shannon really pulled it off, but it does take some getting used to. Kevin Spacey was one of my favorite parts of this movie. I didn't know seeing Kevin Spacey play Nixon was gonna be one of the things that I needed to see before I died, but it was. Holy crap. I don't want to meet no Elvis. Like, just, he had the characteristics down. He looked like Nixon. He looked like he had gained weight. I don't know if it was prosthetic. It was definitely prosthetics in the face. I don't know if he was wearing extra weight on his body, but he pulled it off, man. For the most part, a lot of the other actors in this movie kind of took some getting used to. Johnny Knoxville is kind of a really recognizable character at this point. And Alex Pettyfer, I hope that's how you say this guy's name, his hair looked just terrible the whole movie. So did Johnny Knoxville's, but they played pretty good characters, and they played into what was my favorite part about this movie. This movie, you may not notice it at first, but it really is a story about power. It plays around with the idea of the most powerful man in the world, basically. Nixon at the time was in charge of one of the most powerful countries in the world, meeting up with a man who was arguably far more powerful than him, the king of rock and roll. Elvis walks into a room and people faint. One of my favorite things in movies is definitely not seeing girls shriek and start like freaking out and getting in groups. Having been in a lot of theater productions, that just kind of is like nails on a chalkboard to me, but it kind of pulls off this whole movie because of how Michael Shannon plays it off. It's awesome to see Michael Shannon's Elvis play off of everyone else because he's so calm. He's so his own person, and it really gets into who Elvis is as a person and how essentially he has no power in his life. He's reduced to an object by a lot of people. He surrounds himself with objects and people who treat him like an object. And it's cool to see him kind of break down, but just in little bits and little cracks to his friends, trying to just reach out and be like, I'm still a person underneath all this. But he still is Elvis. He never breaks character. He never feels like it's not real. And one of the biggest problems I had with this movie was the use of shaky cam on close-ups, because that is really noticeable. But I did like the tender moments when he's just looking in the mirror, trying to talk to himself about who he is, trying to come to grips with the fact that he's about to meet the president of the United States and he's about to meet someone who is potentially far more powerful than him. And I love how Nixon didn't want to meet up with Elvis at all. Elvis walks in the room and within seconds, Nixon is just in the palm of his hands, just playing around. It says that this whole conversation was never recorded, so it can never be solidly said what was going on. But you can see in that picture, the look on Nixon's face is so happy. And Nixon was not the happiest looking guy. You have to assume that this was a cool conversation they had with each other. I was smitten with this movie. There was a lot of little side characters that I'm definitely not mentioning. Colin Hanks. Colin Hanks was incredible. He was really good. I really liked his character. I don't want to get into it too much because there's not really that much to get into, but he was really cool to see play off of Elvis.
Please do not drink from it because it's only for the president.
What in the good God is going on?
I don't know, sir.
And then Kick-Ass Kid, I know his name somewhere deep down in my brain, but I'll forever know him as Kick-Ass trying to be Quicksilver. But Evan Peters, yeah, American Horror Story. I hate Tumblr for making me know what that name is, actually. But look, if you are into historical dramas, it's not as well written as like an Aaron Sorkin movie, so it's not like fast-paced the whole time, but it is really interesting, everything that goes on, and it's funny, and it's just really good. I loved when Michael Shannon grabbed the M&Ms he wasn't supposed to grab. That was really funny. I didn't think that would be as funny as it was. And every time that Michael Shannon did the "this is my baby," like every time he was showing off his guns, I laughed so hard by the end. It started getting ridiculously funny, especially with the gift. Look, if you haven't seen it yet, please do. If you have seen it, please leave a comment. I don't suspect that a lot of people I know are gonna see this movie, so I need people to talk about it with, plain and simple. I want to talk to people about this movie. I'm dying for someone to talk to about this movie, okay? Please. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Check out my Jungle Book review if you want, and if you want to see the rest of the train of reviews that I'm going to be getting out in the next few days, click that subscribe button. I know you probably hear people say that a lot, but just click the subscribe button. Click it. And my review of Everybody Wants Some will be up really soon, so thank you for watching. I love you. Have a great afternoon, morning, evening. Doesn't matter. You can watch this at any time. I don't know. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.